Alrighty, there is an item that I did not discuss in class that I wanted to discuss with you. I talked about the one problem where you solve for IRR, assuming that your friend has an investment for you, and then you then plug in the 13% discount rate and then solve for NPV. You find, and that gives you the difference between the 40,000 and the NPV. Let me show you what's happening here. In that situation, we are accounting for 40,000 in cash flow 0. If we were to do that for our NPV here, still accounting for the cash flow, and mind you, that would be negative. The 40,000 cash flow 0, that would give us that negative 7,000 plus or minus. So let's like that. So plus or minus, and that would, in essence, give us the net present value, accounting for the 40,000, which would make it so that we'd have to subtract the 7K from the 40,000, which gives us $32,000 some odd dollars. You can also solve for that $32,000 by doing a simple trick. So if you know you're going to be solving for what the net present value, in essence, what cash flow 0 is, and you have all the given cash flows and you have your discount rate at 13%, what you're going to do is you're going to account for cash flow 0 with $0. Now, you're probably thinking, why? Well, remember, net present value is discounting all the cash flows back to the present value. And if we have a $40,000 in there, then it gives us that negative 7, which if you know what that means, you can back into the correct answer. But if you really wanted to know the true value of these cash flows without having to subtract that net present value from the 40, you could just put in 0 as cash flow 0. Then you can do your cash flows for 1 through 20. Then you can do your cash flows through 21 through 40. And then at your 13% discount rate, you can solve for NPV. And that answer right here would be the same as if we took that 40K and subtracted that 7K plus or minus. It was like 7,238, something like that, which gave us the 32,000, okay? And plus or minus. And those two would actually be the same amount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run you through that real quick, but I wanted to make this distinction. You could get to this answer right here by using no cash flow in 0, 1, as you would by including 40,000, but subtracting that 7,000, that NPV with the 40 from the 40. So let me run you through that real quick. So remember, this question asks for quarterly compounding periods. Okay, or 4 periods per year. Okay, so the first step that we have to do is clear out our calculator. And sorry, that's a little hard to see over there, so let me see if that can become more clear. Okay, so quarterly, 4 periods per year, and you see the example where I've done the NPV with the 40,000 as cash flow 0, takes us down to the negative 7,000 as the answer, which then you have to take that negative 7 and subtract it from the 40. So let me run you through both scenarios. Okay, first, let me run you through the IRR way where we're solving for IRR, and then we solve for NPV, and then we take that NPV and subtract it from the 40,000. So first thing that I do, and here's my calculator, is I hit clear all. Okay, and I have 4 periods per year already in my calculator. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 40,000. Remember, this plus or minus sign over here would make that negative. And then you hit CFJ. Okay. Then for cash flows 1 through 20, remember the calculator can only store up to 16 cash flows. So we have to use the NJ function for all 20 of that first set. What we're going to do is we're going to type in the 1400 cash flow 1. Then for the 20 cash flows, we're going to go 20 shift NJ. Okay, and basically what that does is that tells the calculator for 20 of those cash flows, or in essence 5 years, because remember we're compounding quarterly, we're going to have $1,400. Then we're going to hit 1600, as you see up there, just up to the top left of my calculator. 1600, CFJ, and then we're going to do 20 NJ as again. So 20 shift NJ. And then what we're going to do is hit shift, and then under the CST is, if you can see it, is the IRR. So underneath that CST is the IRR per year. Hit that, and that gives us 8.2733%. So I'll go ahead and write that up here. $8.727, forgive me, 33%. Okay, so that's what the IRR is. But the question asks, okay, giving those same cash flows, including the CF0 at 40,000, what would it be that we would offer? So, and now if you can see that cash flow, the first one, let's run it. So I apologize. I currently have it in a scenario where I'm not accounting for the 40,000, the negative 40,000. So let me rewrite this with a darker marker so you can see it. So CF0 negative 40K, and then CF 1 through 20 equals oh sorry, let me make an adjustment. So the question in your assignment is going to ask for, okay, what is the NPV at 13%? So if we were to take those same cash flows at 13%, so disregard up here, forgive me for a second, just so that we can run you through how the question is currently stated on the homework. What we're going to do is look for the NPV. Okay, so it's asking us basically with those same cash flows, including the 40,000, negative 40,000, these same cash flows, what would we be willing to offer our friend to invest if we were to get our 13% return on our investment, or discount rate? So again, we discussed discount rate in class. Discount rate is basically our threshold, our the least amount of return that we require on the investment. So if we were to use these same cash flows using a 13% discount rate, meaning that's what the lowest threshold we'll go for, what will be our NPV? So with everything still in your calculator, what we're going to do is, it's kind of an easy way about going this, but because of how hard some things are, it might be a little confusing, but really this is simple. You just hit 13 interest per year. That's where you input your discount rate. Okay, and then you hit shift NPV. Now it gives us this negative 7,374. If we were, so basically what some people might think is, oh, well, we're discounting that 40,000 to 7,000, which, let me put the answer here, to negative 7,374.38, okay? Well, that's what that is, right? No, wrong. The reason why that's wrong is because what this is doing, it's actually discounting the difference between what the 13% is and the 40. So what we have to do is we have to take this 40,000 now down here and subtract, so then that becomes, so two negatives is a positive. So subtract, that's that 7,374.38. So since I already have a negative, in my calculator, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit plus, and then let's see, 140,000, because it's already in a negative, right? And so that's what the actual true net present value would be, or in essence, that's what we would offer to get our 13% discount rate. Okay, now the major purpose for this video is to show you that you can actually solve for this in a different way, and quite frankly, it's an easier way of doing it. But okay, so that's what we would be willing to offer in order to achieve that rate of return. Okay, we wouldn't go above that, we wouldn't go below that. That's what we want. Now, we could actually solve for this another way, and it's what I was mentioning before in this video. So say we want to solve for the NPV of these cash flows. What we have to do, and as if you can see that, yeah, let me start over here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to solve for the NPV of the 1,400 and 1,600 cash flow. So what we do is we actually don't include the 40,000, because what the 40,000 does is when we include that in our calculation in the cash flows, it actually finds the inverse. And so we don't account for anything, just zero cash flow, zero. And then cash flow 1 through 20, remember it's still the same, 1,400. And then cash flow 21 through 40 equals 1,600. Okay, and then that's still the same 13% discount rate. And then we solve for NPV. Okay. See what you get. See if it matches what we've done right here, particularly this 32,000. So go ahead and do that, and I'll do it as well. So first thing, clear out your calculator. Keep it in the 4 periods per year, because that hasn't changed. Okay, so right there, I'm going to clear all. Cash flow 0 is going to be 0. Cash flow 1 through 20 is going to be 1,400. So then we put in 1,400, a CFJ, then we go 20, shift, NJ. And then our CF 21 through 40 is going to be 1,600, CFJ, and then 20, shift, NJ. We need to put our 13% discount rate, so 13 IYR, shift, and then under the PRC button is our NPV. You get your 32,625. See how they equal the same? 2 ways about doing the same problem, and I didn't have a chance to describe that, so thus the video. So 32,625.62. So basically we have the same answer, but we went about it 2 different ways. Okay?